Hello, everybody. Scott Golden with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and ultimately, it is the November, September 5th, 1993 edition of Wrestling Challenge Audio Review, and this is the opening segment featuring comments from Yokozuna as well as footage and Jim Cornette, as well as footage in the locker room attack or confrontation between Lex Luger and Ludwig Borga following SummerSlam. Bam Bam Bigelow with Luna Vachon pinning Phil Apollo, diving headbutt. Bigelow kind of gets lost in the shuffle here post SummerSlam. Goes into an abysmal feud with Doink the Clown going later in the year. Which doesn't, probably does well if you're an 8-year-old kid, but I wouldn't imagine wanting to be in that situation if you're anything but a small child, or watching that if you're anything but a small child. Anyway, as mentioned, punch kick, cartwheels, pretty big body slams from none other than the nature that is Bam Bam Bigelow at the time, and he manages to be pretty aggressive. Also, IRS is out there pretty quickly, and the IRS manages to go after a enhancement opponent wearing very loud green pants, as it were. IRS is obviously trying to do what he can there, and IRS defeats Jerry CV 225 with a flying clothesline. IRS post going back to his singles run as Ted DiBiase is off the area because of his injury, and obviously IRS pinning CV with the flying right off clothesline. Basic maneuver, nothing to write home about here, and he gets a couple of, I guess you'd say, amateur style holds in, but certainly a more basic than average run there for IRS, as it were, and getting the win there. Men on a Mission up next against Rich Myers and an unknown enhancement talent. Pretty bad when they don't even give his name during the intro, I don't think, nor during the match anywhere. In any event, obviously, Men on a Mission, Mo, Mabel, and Oscar. Oscar, of course, the manager, and super basic stuff here. Nothing to write home about by any stretch of the imagination. It is more about kind of giving them some television time so that they can get ready for people like the Quebecers and other more aggressive things. Lex Luger also cuts an interview where he's basically apologizing for not winning, but being grateful for, continuing to love his God, his country, the fans, and he doesn't regret spending time with them, does regret winning only by countout. But an upcoming house show match, Undertaker and Shawn and Yokozuna for the WWF title is on tap. Also, 1-2-3 Kid and Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental Championship. Wow, the Kid certainly jumped forward rather quickly, didn't he? He jumps forward quite quickly in his pursuit of things there. And then we go back to the arena, back to very simplistic things there, and it's an interesting run. Ludwig Borga basically cuts down Independence or Labor Day, basically talks in Finnish and manages to basically insult Lex Luger and all hardworking American people. I always have despised these nationalistic angles just because I think they're a waste of time, but it's not a waste of time for me to grab my phone, so I'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail with that. And then, basically it's a pretty easy rollout there. The King's Court issue with Jerry Lawler, he does the mock, the King's Court there. He's, kind of talking at the time about Bret Hart holding on to the sharpshooter too long, permanently trying to injure him. Not that it actually happened that way, but the Curt Hennig enhancement match is here as well. Hennig, of course, still going to have several more matches with Shawn Michaels, although their SummerSlam match by nature didn't really click all that well, and some would say there's a challenge as it relates to that going forward. Iron Mike Sharp gets pinned with I'm sorry, Paul Vanzler gets pinned with a perfect flex 325, rolling neck snap, inverted neck snap, and the drop kicks are the major moves in that one as well. Continuation of what's going on there, and ultimately, it's a transition time, and if you notice, Survivor Series post SummerSlam really has always been in the WWF a slower time of year. 93, no distinction against that. And then Iron Mike Sharp against the 1-2-3 Kid, which is what I was wandering into before without meaning to. Sharp getting a decent enough match out of the Kid. Kid coming in, hitting some martial arts kicks, hitting decent drop kicks, hitting a diving splash, and eventually hitting the victory roll, getting a victory for himself. Adam Bomb is up here next. Adam Bomb in a squash match, still managed, of course, by Johnny Polo. Polo manages to get himself, I guess you'd say, pretty well reimagined, and beating Bob Evans, back suplex, slingshot clothesline, and ultimately a power bomb for Adam Bomb to get a victory here. They go into the event center once again. Nothing that you got to write home about in those segments, but they're certainly hyping the heck out of the upcoming end of the month Garden show, and we'll be back with more right after this.